Hi everyone, welcome to the 8th edition of Zero to Somewhere. And this is the first vlog of the year, and I know I missed last week, which is my bad. But starting today, I would like to make a bit of a change to the format of this vlog. Partly that I would like to do it monthly instead of every week, because I think nothing much happens on a week to week basis for it to be actually interesting to be shared. So I think it makes much more sense to do it every month. And it will also give me a bit more time to work on my things because it actually takes me around half a day or so to record this. So I thought it would also be a good idea to do a quick recap of what I've been working on so far. Because I feel like all of my previous vlogs were more very short term recaps and they don't really make sense put together, maybe. So when I started out, I had a very simple idea, which is that I will build apps that solve my own problems and then try to sell those because some other people will have the same problems. This was maybe very too simple of an idea, let's say, and now I realize there are a lot of things I missed out in this, specifically that it takes time to build an app, and also the real hard thing about building an app is not the building of it. At least for me, the real hard part is selling it, and because it's really hard to just get people to find the app, and that's where apps die, basically. Just that they exist but no one can find them, no one knows that they exist, and as a result they are sort of dead. um, I realized this quite early, if I'm honest. I realized it before I started working on my app, but I still wanted it for myself, so I started working on the app anyway, and I still continue to. And so if I'm honest, it puts me in a bit of a strange position because um, as out of all things, I decided to work on a time tracking, task tracking app, which is one of the most common types of apps that exist. And it's really difficult to compete in that space with all the other apps that exist, especially when they are run by much larger companies who can afford to spend millions on advertising, which I just can't. So I built it maybe out of my own stubbornness for wanting it for myself. And I still maybe believe that I can sell it, but I know that it would be very difficult. And it would be very difficult at least to compete directly with these other apps and get on the same level as them to have that many users. But if I'm honest, I don't really care about that. I don't want to have millions of users. I'll be just happy if I have 10 who really like it, who really find it useful, and who would maybe even just pay for it as well. So I don't need to be on that level. Something much less is enough for me. So I still believe that I might be able to do that, so I'll continue. But I know that it's maybe not enough for me, to sustain my expenses. So that is why on this at the same time I decided to start the front end blog, which I call Front End Undefined. The idea to start the blog came from the course I took a couple of years ago called 30 by 500. It was a course that I found because, if I'm honest, I've been through this process before where I built an app and then had it die. And I wanted to find a way to do it in such a way that I can actually sell it. And 30 by 500 is a course that's specifically created for that. It was specifically created to help you create products that sell. And it's based on the idea that it has a very strong process. Let's say it really forces you to pick an audience and then try to find out what problems the audience have by looking at the stuff that they write in online forums and online chats, and then writing blog posts or other maybe even small ebooks to help the audience solve those problems, and then eventually try to sell them stuff that solves the problems that they have. And it really tries to emphasize that you should try to really understand the audience, understand the real problems that they're having, so that you can build stuff that is actually useful to them. And that's why I decided to go back to that process again, and as they recommend in the course, start my own blog, writing posts for people like me, to make my audience the same people as me, which is front-end developers. Um, so far, I have maybe a couple of posts on the blog, and no visitors automatically find it yet. Um, I found out that this is maybe because it takes a couple of months for search engines to actually index the blog properly and to offer it up. But the other issue is that in order to rank high enough on search engine search results pages, you need to have a lot of backlinks to the site. That is probably the number one factor behind how a site is ranked on Google, is the number of backlinks that it has, which is the number of times that the site has been linked to from other sites. And since my blog is new, it's not linked to by anything, and it has 0, which puts it at a big disadvantage. And I'm trying to solve that as well. I'm cross-posting, which is I'm posting the same post that I put on my blog on established blogging platforms like Medium and dev.to. I'm trying to post the blog on social media, mainly on Twitter, which is also then posted on Mastodon. I'm also trying to post on Reddit, but Reddit is a bit tricky because they are really not fans of self-promotion, and if you just post it there, they will ban you, and that's the end of it. So it has to be a bit more careful, a bit more subtle over there, but I'm still trying to post it over there. But yes, as it stands right now, things are there aren't any good results to share of. If I'm honest, the task tracker app, as I said, is in a very tricky position. Even I technically finished it, but I'm still not happy enough with it to show it to the world, because what I feel is right now, even if I show it to the world, the feedback that I will get is basically the same that I can see for myself, because it's at that level of broken where it's quite obvious to anyone. And also it's just not where I want it to be. I want it to be at a place where it actually works for me, and it just doesn't yet. So I will keep working on that. But as I said, it's not going to be my primary thing moving forwards. My primary thing will be the blog. And for the blog, the problem is that it has no visitors yet. And I need visitors in order to actually move to the next step, which is trying to sell something to those visitors. And from what I've read online, from the other bloggers who tried to set up their own blog, it takes around 2 to 3 years for them to actually start getting an audience, try to start getting traffic to their site, and 2 to 3 years of actively posting content, actively writing blog posts. And I'm trying to speed up this process a little bit by writing more than they did, because usually most people, they wrote like 1 post a week. I'm trying to aim for 2 to 3 posts a week. But I still suspect that maybe this might not be enough. Even by writing more, it still just takes time for people to find the site and then link the site to their own sites, so that it gets more backlinks and so that it gets ranked higher on search engine pages. So there maybe is no alternative to just actually letting time take its course and spread the word of the blog. So my extra effort here might not mean that it will catch on any faster. It's too early to say, but that's what it is. So I am in a tricky spot because I don't have, ideally, in an ideal world, I would have enough money to keep doing this for another for another 2 to 3 years to actually give enough time for the blog to catch on. But I can't do that because I just don't have that much money. I only have money for about a year and a year and a half maybe. And with the way inflation has been going the last couple of months, my time is actually shrinking because my expenses have been much more than I ever imagined them to be. So this one and a half year estimate might be also too optimistic. Maybe it might be less. So, but for now, I decided that I will still continue. I will still try to write more content, try to bring more visitors to the blog, and at the same time, try to create something that actually is sellable. I know it's not the time tracking app, like I mentioned. It's probably not going to be the thing that works. So the other thing that I'm thinking of now is to sell a mentoring service, or rather do mentoring as a service online, where I have a website that says that I'm a mentor, and then people can hire me or like pay me to have sessions with them to help them out. I tried this before with the platform called Mentor, but as I've mentioned, it didn't go anywhere because there was just too much competition there as well. So I'm hoping that by going direct, I'll be able to get people more, get more people. And also, I took a look, and it's made relatively from at least on a first glance, it seems that it's easier to advertise for those keywords as like mentoring versus any kind of these app keywords. So I might be able to do a bit of advertising on in search as well, which might help. So this is my other plan as well right now, to try start the mentoring service on my own. So to summarize, those are there are three things that I'm working on right now. The first one is to keep writing posts on the front end blog. The second one is to try and launch my own mentoring service and to advertise it as well. And finally, to keep working on the task tracker app and get it to a point where I can release it. It really is maybe doesn't make much sense to keep working on it, if I'm honest, because it's unlikely that I can get it to sell very well. But I still want it for myself, and I would still like to share the thing that I built with the world, so that just in case someone might find it useful, because it works a bit differently than most of the other time tracking apps out there. So I will still release it eventually when I feel that it's ready. But yeah, overall, it's sort of like I expected, but also sort of like I keep forgetting is that things are not as easy as they seem, and things that will not happen as fast as I want them to. And I went into this thinking, yeah, within a year I will definitely be able to make this happen. But now that a couple of months in, I realized that maybe a year is itself not enough. It might need longer. But I will keep trying. And yeah. And like I said, this vlog will from now be every month rather than every week. So that's all from me for today, and catch you next month.